Podcast. Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons covering World of Warcraft Classic. I am Tired Bob, and today I'm joined by exhausted Melissa, aka Mel. How you doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm tired. I just got back in town. Bob picked me up and then said, we're doing a podcast. And I said, okay.
It's either that or do it tomorrow and edit all in one day. And every time I do that, it is horrible. And I'm already just exhausted. So, yeah, I wasn't looking to do that. But, guys, if you've been a long time listener, you know what the after TBC launch show was like. This one's probably going to be a lot like that. And we're really tired. We're going to try to get the energy up as it goes on, and I'm sure we probably will be able to manage that, but it might just be, a very docile podcast. So just giving you the warning there. It's also, as you guys know, I've had no time, and so normally I have these really great notes. And they showcase exactly what we're going to do to the show for the people, but we didn't have a guest this week.
You're over-exaggerating your note quality. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I think they're pretty amazing. People come on and they're like, wow, this is really good. But, I did want to ask a guest to come on because they're grinded just like us and tired. I talked to Scotty J the other day. He was like, I can't do anything. I don't even know what my name is anymore. So I just wasn't going to ask anybody to come on. We should have a plethora of guests for next week's show from TwitchCon. We're hoping to record from the streamer's house. I'm bringing my Zoom and two mics, and I don't know if we'll have the bandwidth to live stream, but I'll definitely be recording it for, release later, and I might even be able to get it edited from the laptop out of town, but no promises there. But that should be a guest-packed episode, with everybody just kind of changing in and trading off the mics, and it might be a little wild. So look forward to that. But this week it's just going to be me and Mel. And we're gonna go through what we did for launch and all of that, and then we're gonna go through some of the news, and then we're gonna end it out with a pre-recorded interview with ClassicGo. When he came onto the show the first time, we had way too much that week, and we just weren't able to do his interview. I did it live on stream, about a week later, and I've had it for about a week, but. We'll be putting that at the end of the show, and then after that's over, I'll probably just keep the stream rolling, and Mel and I'll be playing. Hopefully playing and leveling. So that's what we got going on for today. I wanted to start off with. We stream the show live on twitch.tv/BlazinBob. It's BLAZZINBOB. Make sure to come and check us out. I also stream pretty much every day now, so come check us out. What else? Oh, Patreon. We've been getting some more Patreons, but we would like your help more with that. If you can, throw us a couple bucks. That's Warcraft Reloaded on Patreon. You can just search it. The link will be in the description of the podcast. All right. We didn't have any new reviews. Oh, and yeah, see, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm out of it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I also want to thank our tank patron, Thick Lizzie. Thank you, Thick Lizzie, for continuing to support us. If you'd like your name read on the show or any name of your choosing, become a tank patron. Yeah. Well, if you can make the name on Patreon, then we can put it up. Okay, so we did, however, get a lot of voicemails. So I thought I'd go ahead and play those.
The podcast.
This one's kind of dicey, kind of broke up a lot.
Drop a comment about the boxes as a prop paladin before prop paladins were cool. These tanking boxes are amazing. I just don't think I fully agree with your take of everyone shouldn't, or, tanks and healers shouldn't get them. They got crap elixirs in them and all that stuff, and you can donate them to the guild, and there's so many good things you can do with them, and it gives me a reason to run them with a guild, with anybody on the street, anything like that. Able to do all that good willy-nilly stuff. So, gonna continue listening. Y'all have a good lunch.
Sorry.
What was he saying?
He was basically agreeing with you. He was saying that he disagrees that tanks, like what me and Scotty and Tyrannosaur were basically saying, that it wasn't fair that just tanks and healers had a chance to get these extra boxes. And
wow,
I just think you're wrong. I don't agree at all. Now, they're not as egregious as I thought they were going to be. Guide MMO did an opening of 50 of the boxes. But in opening them, he got the Magister's Terrace mount. So if he opened 50, I know it's a small sample size, but that's a 2% chance. I mean, if you're going to give out those types of mounts, I want it to be like a 0.05 chance, or... well, maybe that's too low. A 0.1 or a 0.5 chance. Like it just seems a little much to give the mounts. And the consumes aren't just worthless elixirs. They're flasks and all kinds of stuff. But those are more rare. But it's still the system worked well when it was for random Dungeon Finder, because they knew what role was needed and those people got rewarded. I think it's just weird that healers and tanks get it every dungeon they run. It's just it's just weird, but it also doesn't bother me all that much either. So, I mean, I'm going to be tanking a ton of them, so I'm going to be getting the boxes, but it's just looking at it as a whole, and as like that's the part that I just don't agree with. But everybody's welcome to their own opinions, and we respect yours. Thank you for taking the time to call in. I'm sorry that your cell service was kind of breaking up.
Hey, Mel and Bob, this is Ball Hog again, calling from Grobulus. The guild is a Midwest emo mixtape, and I just wanted to let y'all know.
Yes.
I've been playing my druid. I'm really enjoying the versatility between healing and tanking and, dungeon spamming when I can get through all these queues. We're having about 800 queue. Last night I had a queue of 399 minutes. So that was great. Anyways, I just wanted to call and thank you guys again for continuing with the amazing podcast. And it's nice to hear everyone on. I love that you have No Hit Jerome on, one of my favorite streamers. And we're recruiting. We're a hardcore 10-man guild, and really good people in the Pacific Northwest. And we're definitely recruiting Horde Side, a Midwest emo mixtape. So if you happen to see us in Wrath running around in Northrend, hit us up. We're cool people. And anyways, thanks Mel and Bob. And have a great day.
Thank you. Also, the Midwest emo mixtape is the best name ever. I love it.
It is pretty good. It's not a bad It's not a bad thing, though, to kind of do that shout out here, because if you get a Warcraft Reloaded listener, you know they're going to be cool people.
True.
True. Yes, these are very true. Very true. Did he have a question there?
No.
Okay. He was just trying to recruit for his guild, huh?
Whatever works.
All right, this one, he called in twice, but the first one is just kind of thanking us for the podcast. So I'm not going to play that one. I'm going to play the one where he got his question in.
Hey, same caller from before. Name is Dispatcher Chris. I play on my favorite service, Sulfurous, because there's no Q, smiley face. But yeah, got so excited last time that I forgot to ask a question. Question really is just like, I'm a new player, just started playing during Wrath pre-patch, really been enjoying it, love the insight into the podcast and all that stuff, been really helpful to me. My real question is, what do you guys think is the best ranged DPS class to go into Wrath with? I always love listening to all the fun tier list podcast stuff that YouTubers do on, their take on what is the best class to level with, what is the best class of scales, etc. But I always love to hear the live debates between people during it. Call each other some fun names. Thank you.
That's a hard question. I assume since you're a new player, you're not going to get into super sweaty guild because, we wouldn't want to recommend, Boomy, Druid Moonkin or Shadow Priest, because it's likely that there'll just be one of those per raid in the super sweaty groups. But most people aren't super sweaty and are good, are going to run multiple classes that the top end people wouldn't be running. So I don't know. Boomkid is really fun right now. Shadow
Warlocks
Priest
are really good.
I've heard Shadow Priest is really good. Warlocks are going to be really good. If you're the one Debo lock, then you're going to be getting gear just pushed to you because you have the scaling buff. Mages are going to start out a little slow, but really, really ramp up Ulduar and on. And really, honestly, nobody is really going to care for Nax unless they're speed running. Like, Nax is pretty dang easy. So you just have to get through that, and then you're going to really pump. But, Mage and Warlock, you pretty much can't go wrong with if you're just looking for something that's going to get spots.
Yeah. I thought Hunters were good in Wrath, no?
Hunters they're goodish, but like they're going to be like certain specs, like the one Sar's been working on, the survival spec is going to really pump on trash, but he cares about that because he speed runs. I don't know that a ton of people care about trash. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
They're not going to be like, oh, look at what I did, and like, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel like most kind of casual people are, is they're looking at the bosses and they're not looking to pump on trash. I mean, Boomkin's going to pump on trash too, but Hunters are always pretty steady, good choice, but I don't know. That's about all I got for you here.
I don't play DPS, so don't take my word for anything.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Mel. Cast it yourself from Horde side of the Man Creek server, which is obviously a very heavy Horde server here. Now, I got a question. Why do you guys think that they decided to go ahead and do the looking for battleground and not the looking for dungeon? Because to me, that's kind of an oxymoron. It's kind of the same exact type of premise where you kind of just queue in and get dropped back off where you were at, and you get put in with a bunch of randos. So, again, why? It makes zero sense to me. Also, I wanted to add real quick before I popped off of here, thank you guys so much for doing what you do. I'm actually looking myself into starting up my own podcast. you guys got any kind of advice or anything like that for me, you can find me on Man Creek on the Horde side. That's Cast It Yourself. Thanks.
So I do have, I think, so here's my take. Looking for Battleground, like you always entered Battlegrounds from the main cities, right? So there wasn't really, like looking for Battleground.
It's not completely true. It was a change made quickly, even before vanilla ended, but originally you had to go to the locations to queue for BGs back when they first came out in vanilla. But before vanilla was over, they switched to the battle masters because it was just crazy to travel all the way there.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, you know, Battlegrounds are quick. We're used to doing Battlegrounds with random people, right? Lots of people queue for Battlegrounds solo. You know, you get a few guildies together and that's a lot of fun, but it's not a typical thing by most guilds, right? I'm sure there's groups of people that do it all the time, but I think that looking for dungeons, a lot of the aspect of trying to get a group together to make a dungeon, like you never had to get a group together to do a battleground, right? You always had the option to just queue with random people.
Yeah. And when it first came out, it was just server side only, and then they switched to battle groups. And they would have, you know, 8 or so servers in one battle group, and they would all queue together. But then when we came back to Classic WoW, they just did the whole straight up retail model of every server can queue with every server.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really different, to be honest. I think looking for dungeon and looking for battleground are completely different, but I also don't PvP very often, so.
I think it'd be extremely hard to get battleground groups going, and I think it would be, I mean, you would never get it going. And honestly, I just don't think they care about PvP as much as they care about PvE. It's just,
yeah,
in the entire history of WoW, I mean, they weren't even going to put PvP in initially. Like when they were making the game, there were certain people that forced the issue and said, we have to have PvP. It's World of Warcraft, you know? And it's crazy to me to think that like there were people actually thinking we shouldn't have PvP, but that's something that they were really planning on doing before they brought out WoW. So it's interesting, you know? But yeah, I think they just don't care as much, and yeah, it doesn't make sense. I do think they're different, like Mel says, but it is a double standard. It definitely is, and you know, most of us here, we want the dungeon finder. We don't want the raid finder. Like that's just
yeah.
We've talked it to death, you know. So I don't know what else we can say.
They know our thoughts on it,
but. Yeah, and I think that's even been brought up before. I'm not positive, but yeah, I just don't think BEGs would happen if it was only pre-mades against pre-mades. It would be extremely hard to get 15 people, and Alterac Valley would be nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Alterac Valley was the first BG, so maybe that's why they first put it in to where you could queue, you know, with a group or solo. So I don't know. All right. Well, thank you guys for your voicemails. Anybody else that wants to call, it's 816-866-1066. Give us a call, and we'll try to get you on the show. All right, Mel, you want to talk about our launch experience? Here, I guess I can start off with what started it.
Yeah, you start while I fill up my drink.
All right. Well, I can't really start with you doing that because I have to mute when you open the door, so can't really start. I can now, though. All right, so I screwed up and did not. It had been a week and a half since Benediction had any queues. So I got kind of lax and kind of, I felt comfortable. And so day of launch, like I slept in, because I was going to plan on staying up super late, and slept in, and I got up, and then I leisurely went over and queued 4 hours before lunch. I thought that would be completely fine. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Was not completely fine at all. The queue that I signed into 4 hours prior to launch was a 9-hour queue. So I didn't get in till 5 hours after launch had happened. Gave me a lot of time to watch the world first, but it was a real bummer. And then Mel didn't get in until another like 35 minutes after me. And she had logged in just a couple hours prior, and there was no queue at all. So, she wasn't worried about waking me up, but yeah, it ended up being horrible. Oh,
well, then I checked when I started working.
Oh, I thought you checked at like noon.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So that was a big screw up and took a lot of time off our stuff. It kind of started me out bummed out, but we did get in, and then I proceeded to do a straight 24-hour stream. Straight. Like I just kept playing the entire way through. I think Mel took a nap for like, 4 hours, and I worked on a different character, and then she came back. But yeah, do you want to start with what we did first and all that?
Act like Mel had to take a nap. Well, Mel was up at 7:30 that morning working, and then stayed up until 9 in the morning with Bob, and then I took a nap. And then I get back, and he's like, I don't know, I'm gonna crash, I think. And I'm like, what? I just took a nap so that we could keep going. Like, I have to go back to work the next day. Like, that's fine. So, we went up and down. But we went in, and Bob was like, all right, we're going to Utgard Keep. I was like, okay. And you know me, I hate dungeons. I love questing, right? But I did it. I was like, okay, it's fine. So we go in there. We do it once. We're like, okay. And then we tried to do the last boss, and we were like, nope, this isn't going to work. So, because he does something. I don't know. We couldn't figure it out. We didn't want to look it up.
Yeah, we didn't look it up. It was easy.
We didn't care enough.
Yeah, when we came back, it was super easy.
Yeah, but then we did it again, and we were like, okay, do you just want to quest?
I was just like, okay.
Said that to me, and I was like, hell yeah, I just want to quest. And so then we just went and quested, and that was a lot of fun. I love questing, and Bob gets off track and puts me on follow a lot, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So we quested until I took a nap.
Well, and we quested it was, everybody was scared that it was going to be really hard, but mobs are spawning pretty quickly. Everybody's down with not everybody, but most people, you walk up to like a named guy, which they respawn pretty dang quick compared to like a classic.
Yeah.
But everybody's on the same page, and just you invite them or they invite you, and you just do the boss, and then, you just leave. You just leave group after that. And so that's been pretty standard. It's definitely not as fast as it could be.
The suggest an invite or request an invite helps a lot, right?
It does help a lot.
I just think it makes it so that if anybody notices, they can make that happen. But yeah, we've met a couple jerks, right? There's always those few that you're like, yeah.
You're an asshole. With gathering and stuff, there's people. Mel had this one.
Oh my God.
When we were questing in boring tundra. Do you want to tell the story about your dog poop or wolf poop?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about the one last night, but yeah. Okay. So there's this one quest where you have to do something to these wolves, and then they lay something on the ground,
poop.
Right?
Yeah, they poop.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about this. There's some really weird themes and the quest lines across the expansions. Right?
There was
like,
someone at Blizzard really into feces.
Into animal feces, right? There's a lot of quests about animal feces. There's also a lot of quests where you're letting children out of cages, right? Like, isn't this weird? Nobody thinks this is strange. Like, I just do it. And I'm like, yeah, let the children free. Like, why do we have so many children in cages? But, you know, I'm the hero of the story. You know, I let them free. So I feel good about that. But, you know, that's fine. So we're in Borean Tundra, and there's a lot of people there trying to tag these dogs. And I don't know if anybody else has the same experience, but everybody is always on the same step as you in the zone, right? Like, there's like 5 things you have to do in that zone, and everybody's always on the one step that you're on, except for that one random person that's like way behind you, and you're like, oh yeah, you're getting all the wolves now. But I like zap this one dog, and then this other one spawns like right next to me, and this paladin was mad because I tagged it before him, and I'm like, I mean, it's free reign, right? Like, I tagged it before you. Why are you mad at me? And so I zapped this other dog while I was waiting for this other one to lay his poop, and the freaking paladin comes up and takes the poop. I didn't even know you could take somebody else's poop. Like, why? Why is that a thing? Like, it was mine. Like, oh man.
The best is you go, did you know somebody else could take your poop?
I was so mad.
I was like, don't even ask me how I know that. so of course, as soon as Mel told me you could do that, I went and tried to take somebody else's poop.
Of course he did.
Oh, that guy was not happy.
Because you should follow him around and try to take all of his poop. And I'm like, two wrongs does not make a right, Bob. I'm not gonna go follow him around. I'll waste more time trying to take his poop.
I've had all kinds of all kinds of people with like mining nodes. This one guy called me all kinds of names, and I was at the node before him and was just taking my time, and then he swoops in, takes it, and then has the audacity to call me names. And he called me, and he said tells with some really good names too. So I, of course, did /report, you know, and then, you know, right before I hit the report button, I was like, reported, smiley face. Because I only win there.
The assholes, getting the assholes out of the queue. Thank you for your service. Goodbye.
Yeah, most likely he'd just get muted, but that's frustrating for people when they get muted. So people. Yeah, so it's just like, all right, dude. I'm like, I didn't say anything to you, and you're the one that stole it. But right. It's just weird.
So I took off. When did Wrath come out? What day? Monday night, right?
Monday evening, yeah.
Yeah. So Monday evening, so I took off work Tuesday, but I couldn't take off a lot of time because we're also going to TwitchCon next week. So I can't be off work for that long. Like, I have the PTO, I just can't be off work for that long. But so I took off Tuesday, and then I flew to Austin on Wednesday to go help move one of my clinics, which I thought, like, hey, this will be super easy. I'm going to just go, I'll get an SUV, I'll fill it up, I'll take it to the clinic. I was so sore, right? Okay, because literally all I've been doing lately is at my computer working and then at my computer playing WoW. So my watch is like yelling at me, like, what are you doing? It's like 9 a.m. and you're like 200% of your move goal. And I'm like, yeah, just wait. And then somebody asked me, they said something like, hey, do you want to go to dinner? And I was like, sure. And they were like, oh, you're on keto. And I was like, listen, I am on keto, but I feel like I've worked hard enough to not be on keto tonight. Okay. Like, let's go get some Mexican. Let's do this. But yeah, so then I'm in Austin Tuesday, and then I came back today through Saturday, and every night, like, so I'd work all day moving, right? Not like even like easier physical work. So then I'd get back and I'd like be like, oh God, why did I think I can do this? Like, I'm way too old for that shit, right? But I did it. I was very efficient. And so it was like a quest, right? I just used it as like a quest. Like, how many items can I get into this van and how can I Tetris them around to make it the most efficient as possible. And then, so every day I'd work, and then I'd come back to the hotel. And the first night, I like tried to use my hotel internet to get the enhanced internet. Okay. Yeah. It was awful. It was like 2000 ms. Like I was like unplayable. And so I was like, okay, well, let me try my hotspot. Yeah. Hotspot, like 65 ms the whole time. I'm like, all right. And I complained to Marriott later on that one because there's no reason that the enhanced internet should be that much worse than my hotspot. But whatever. My hotspot worked, so that's nice. So I know use my hotspot now.
Yeah, it's got to be bad IT traffic shaping, and they're just giving all the bandwidth to Netflix and YouTube and those types of services and cutting everything else out, which will in turn like cut, throttle your MMO games down when they don't even need to. It takes such little connection to
I mean, when I went to bed, my
MMO.
Netflix was fine on the hotel internet.
Yeah, it's just bad IT.
Yeah, so that was fine, but it was really frustrating the first night, right? So we got started really late again, and then the second night. What happened the second night? Nothing happened, right? Like we got to play a couple hours, and
that was last night. Oh no, it was horrible.
No, the second night was Friday or Thursday.
Okay. Yeah. We just played a few hours.
Oh, did we play with Cappy and Zim?
No, that was the first night.
Okay. And then last night, I went out to dinner and then came back and then we played, but Bob was real mad about something and now I can't remember what.
Well, if you go back and look at the VOD, Mel was real mad and pissy for like most of the night. And then I finally just got fed up because our quests weren't working and she couldn't take the free flight path to the new zone. And
I was
like, yeah, it was super frustrating. So for some reason, we skipped Dragon Blight because that zone sucks. By the way, we went to Grizzly Hills.
We went back there, and it's actually not that bad.
It is pretty bad. Compared to Grizzly Hills and then Zoldrak and then Shalazar Basin, it definitely is the turd of Wrath of the Lich King. But yeah, so I had done it on my rogue while she was at work, and then I talked her into skipping it with me on the warrior and going to Grizzly Hills. But then when she got on last night, I'd made a good amount of progress with the rogue and way to keep it going. So that's why we went back to Dragon Blight. But for some reason, the auto flight to take you from that first quest hub to the town that's right underneath Nax Ramus, for some reason that didn't work for her. I guess because she skipped to the other zone, so that quest was just gone, and so we actually had to.
No, I think I turned it in earlier, but it didn't give me an auto flight path. I don't remember, but either way, long story short, I kept saying it's not there, and Bob kept saying, "Yes, it is. You're doing something wrong."
I still feel like you had to hold shift, and there's a talking option there.
Did hold shift.
Oh yeah, and you turned off.
I turned off all my add-ons.
All the add-ons.
I did everything, and he still didn't believe me, and he was so frustrated, and I was frustrated because I'm like, there's nothing I can do. There's nobody here, nobody to talk to.
Well, we've been doing quests for hours that night. All the quests that I had already done on my rogue, so I just power leveled her through, thinking I'd get some progress after we got done, and then the night's ending, and I'm like, damn it, we didn't even get to any quests where I actually could turn in, and I just, there's frustrations, and everybody's freaked out. The Q boss has been the absolute bane. It brings everybody's stress levels up so much higher because there's just a lot of anxiety, right? You can't oversleep, you have to make sure you don't get kicked off, you can't leave your house. I mean, like when I take the dogs out, I'm sweating. Like if Mel's not here to watch the computer, I'm like sweating, seriously sweating. Like, come on, guys, come on. You know, it's just absurd.
That's why they were so excited to see me. They're like, Bob's Bear will let us poop. He's
No.
talking about some Q.
Oh no, I've definitely taken them out, but it's rough, and it brings anxiety and everything else, and everybody's trying to get ready for raids, and it's just a lot. And I'm dumb and decided to work up 2 characters, although I am 68 and a third. 78 and a third on my rogue.
He's like, you're killing it, Bob. 68. Woo!
And 74 and a half on my warrior. Hopefully 77 by tonight on the warrior. And then Monday during the day, I'll knock out to 79 on the rogue. Tuesday, knock out to 80. I'll be golden there. So should work out good.
Yeah, we don't leave for TwitchCon until Thursday, right?
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be fine. I have I have to work all next week, but I have tonight and tomorrow all day. And I'm 75, so I feel like I'm fine.
Yeah, what sucks is I'm sure our raid's going to be Thursday night, and I just hope I get settled into the hotel in time to be able to make it.
You're going to raid without me?
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
don't worry. Nax is like an hour and a half, so shouldn't be a big deal. It'll just depend, you know. I'm going to go if they need me. If they don't, you know, I could probably just not go to that first raid. I mean, you could do it with like 15 people, you know, so it's not like I don't know if it's a huge deal. Luckily, like, you know, the gear, I mean, my gear, like I still haven't, I've got one upgrade. I got so far up to level 78. I got one upgrade. My range slot, it actually upgraded a 78 blue upgraded that. But the item levels are misleading because, I mean, I'm definitely going to replace weapon soon, but everything else, the item levels are misleading because of gem slots on a lot of things. And then they're like, you know, there's a lot of more base stats on all of this gear, but you're losing out on a ton of other stats. So
yeah,
it's going to be kind of weird trying to decide when to like replace items at least as far as, you know, dungeons and heroics go. But
yeah, I feel like I haven't even had time to really sit down and examine exactly what I need to do and all of that, but
I haven't had time. My bank alts, their bags are full and their banks are full, or their mailboxes are full. Like I haven't had time to parse through anything.
Listen, this is what we need to talk about though. The goodie bags that we were getting like at the beginning.
Well, we got that in the news.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just trying to get through our woes. I'm sure other woes will come up as we talk about the news. But there's no way I can think of everything we've done.
My brain's just kind of like mush.
I literally
got on the plane. I got on the plane and instantly fell asleep and then woke up to like us landing. And I was like, oh, all right. That was fun. It was like I teleported. It was wonderful. It's the best.
Oh, we got Scotty J and ClassicGo in chat. I don't usually shout out chat, but I was telling everybody at the start of the show that I didn't ask anybody to come on because I figured everybody was going to be too busy. If you guys are in chat, I should have asked you, huh?
No, they're still leveling.
Although ClassicGo will be technically on the show here at the end when I play his interview, so...
Oh, Scotty J's bored. That's because you don't have Qs, Scotty J. That's why you're bored.
Yeah, we're just exhausted and tired.
Yeah, I need to level up tailoring. I haven't even... I've kind of started tailoring, But like enchanting now like stresses me out leveling up enchanting because I feel like I need to level it up the like with the vellums and like the right things and sell those. So I'm just trying to figure out what that looks like, and I just haven't had enough time. And then I think my cooking's the highest just because I can easily drop a fire whenever I want to, which is glorious. Right. So anytime we're waiting for a mob, I just drop a fire and cook up any of the meat that we've gotten. It's great. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right, well, let's move into time for the news. All right, so the first thing in the news, I just feel like we need to say it because I still see so many people waiting at the boats for Northrend.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting. I've seen people boarding the boats, and it cracks me up.
What do you think that they think when people just disappear from the dock?
I don't know.
They log out on the dock?
I bet a lot of people don't notice. A lot of people probably get on the boat, or waiting for the boat and looking at something on their browser, and not paying attention.
Maybe they like the RP aspect of it.
But let me give what happened. So basically, when Wrath launched, the first people on the first boats on many servers went to Narnia. The boat took off and never landed. They got booted from the game and were unable to log in for a good amount of time. And the unstuck feature was basically broken on the website because everybody was trying to use it all at the same time. So what Blizzard quickly did is they made it so the boatmaster, I think is what it's called, that's right by the boat, right on the dockmaster. It has a new teleport option, which is glorious. I mean, you could go back and forth from from Borean Tundra to Stormwind and back the opposite way, and from Menethil Harbor straight to Howling Fjord. And I think they're going to leave it in, but it's awesome. Like, you just don't have to do that wait for the boat. You just instantly, boom, poof, you're gone.
Somebody told us, it might have been Cappy, that said they turn it on and off frequently in retail. Like when they add new things in or when things are going to be congested or something, they like turn it back on and then they turn it off for a while.
I think he did say that, but I didn't confirm that, so I wasn't gonna say anything. But I mean, it makes sense. But it was, you act
like everything we say is factual. Like,
what's funny is that they actually put some RP in it, and they talked about like he like says something and like was saying something to people. I don't think I've seen it since, but like early on, he was doing a /yell at people and like, "Hey, we're having issues with the boats. They've sprung holes or something, like we're offering a limited time teleport or something like that." But I thought that was kind of great. But yeah, guys, stop. Like, it's still in the game at the moment. Stop waiting at the boats. You can just teleport. And then
you be you. You wait at the boats if you want to wait at the boats.
Do a /laugh at anybody waiting at the boats right before you teleport.
Mean.
Right, do a /fart. That's loving at least, right?
Oh my gosh, that is not loving.
Oh, I'm delirious. But yeah, so I just wanted to clear that up, let everybody know that that's the case. All right, so the first level 80. First level 80 did it.
So there was a whole event. Race to 80.
Yeah, you can go ahead and talk about that if you want.
Well, just because while we were waiting in queue, that's what we were watching. It was a lot of fun.
For 5 hours. It was, it was awesome. Yeah, it was sponsored by Method, done by...
at least it gave me something to do.
Cargos and them. Wiki and Willie were some of the hosts. Sarth was in there. Crix was in there.
At the beginning of Winky and Willie's segment, I think they were like Willie was making a joke that like Willie and Winky or something was like funny in Europe. I don't know. All I know is Winky was like, I think it has the same laugh here in the US.
Well,
I don't know.
But then they talked about Willie, and we're like, well, you know what that is over here. He's like, yeah, I know.
Oh God. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was some great casting. There's a lot of just like, because there's not a lot, like you're not casting play by play, right? Of a bunch of different people trying to race to 80. And honestly, like the top 2 people didn't have their stream on, which I
didn't like at all. I thought that was, I mean, if you're going to sign up for the event, keep your in the spirit of the game, keep your stream on. That's just my opinion. I thought it was a little cringe.
Yeah, I mean, I get why they did it. It just sucks to try to cast an event where the 2 people in the lead, you can't talk about what they're doing.
Yeah, and see, I wouldn't even say it if they didn't sign up for the event. Like you had to sign up, sign a disclaimer for your stream to be shown. So they signed up for it, and they wanted their stream to be shown. I just thought it was just kind of tacky that they didn't show it. And it's a retail guy. And on top of that, they used an exploit to do it, which made it a bummer for me too.
I mean, most people in the race were using, like most people that were in the running were using some sort of exploit.
Yeah, but this exploit was bad.
Mechanic, call it what you want.
This one was pretty bad. This one, they were basically despawning mobs, so they didn't actually have to fully kill them, and they were getting the full experience for those despawns.
How were they despawning mobs? I didn't even hear about this.
Oh yeah, it was like, I don't know all the logistics, but basically there's a mob in Icecrown, and this is why they didn't show the stream, because they didn't want people to come there and stop them from doing it or copy it.
Mm-hmm.
But they were basically, he was having people help him, healing him stuff, and he was kiting these mobs. There's this one NPC that spawns these mobs until you kill it. And these mobs, if you take them far enough from her, they despawn, but as long as you've gotten some damage on them, you still get the full experience. I mean, the 4 level 1 ghosts, I didn't think was that bad at all. I mean, like yeah,
that's fair. That's more of an exploit, I think. Well, apparently is that the same strategy? I heard somebody say, I don't know if this is accurate, but it's the same strategy that the original World First 80 used.
I have not heard that. I don't know that that's true at all.
I've heard that from multiple sources. I don't know how reliable those sources are, though.
Well, I don't see how they would have known about it originally, so I doubt that that's true. But I think maybe you might be misinterpreting it with like the fact that exploit is still in retail to this day. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true either.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that would explain like why a retail person would know that strategy. But yeah, his name is Noah, and definitely congratulations to him. I just didn't like, that's my prerogative. I could not like the way somebody does something. But from what I understand, he's an incredible player, incredible retail player. Sorry, modern player. Oh, did you see we're in queue, or we're in the game, by the way?
Yeah, I saw.
Okay. So yeah, it's just him not sharing a screen made it a lot less fun to watch, because everybody else was really fun to watch, and it would have been neat to see person in front, and it would have just been neat to see people actually, showing the screen. The not showing the screen drove me a little nuts, and I don't think anybody can honestly say that they liked that part of it or respected that part of it.
I think there's a lot of people that understand.
I understand.
Right? Like,
I just don't respect it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it could have been different too if they would have been on a new server, people didn't know where they were, right? But you would get a lot of trolls. But I think everybody that was also in the race streaming also took that same chance, right?
Yeah, I mean, Sal Dally got like messed with a bunch, at certain spots, and I think that's entertaining. And you know, and I'm sure Sal Dally, honestly, kind of thought it was good because he's going to get to play. He's going to get to 80. It doesn't matter to him. This is just entertaining for his viewers, and that's what the streamers are, entertainers, right?
Yeah, I think my strategy would have been, instead of hiring a bunch of people to help me kill the mobs, I'd hire a bunch of like rogue squads, right? On like, all right, you guys watch the streams, figure out where other people are, go get them, right? And I'll just smooth my way through.
That's awesome. You've just got this whole squad just watching you.
Yeah.
You've got both
squads.
Horde and Alliance, so they can kill both of them.
No, they're going after the others, though. We have to have both. We have to have our internal defense, right? Then we have to have the assault squads that are going after the other people that are catching up to me, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I need a big group.
I like it.
So we'd have to recruit, like every, Warcraft Reloaded listener would have to contribute to this.
Well, I don't think the server...
Next World First Wrath, that's what we're doing.
Well, that's, small boast here. The server's capacity is not enough for the listener base of Warcraft Reloaded.
Yeah, but they could be on assault squads on other servers. If you're not on my server, you're on an assault squad. It's all right. We'll make it work.
What would be the point of that?
Go kill the other people that are catching up.
Oh, yes. That went over my head.
Stay with me here, babe.
Yeah, I know. Smooth brain. Really, I'm struggling here. Yeah,
it's just a joke. I'm never going to go for world first. But it'd be funny.
Hey, Mel, you could be going for world first cook.
I should have. Probably could have gotten that.
Well, actually not. It's gated at like level 77 or something like that. Crazy, right?
Mm.
All right, so just a couple things. Any last stuff to say on the world first you want to throw in there? Congrats to Noah. Go back to retail. Yada yada. No, I'm just kidding. He totally went back to retail like that night, Brian. No, I actually heard he kept leveling and leveled another 80 right afterwards.
Before.
Gotta give him props for that, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think now he's going on to Dragonflight.
Interesting. All right, well, next is a couple hot fixes. Now, this is interesting. So the maximum amount of in-game currency that can be transferred to another realm is now 500 gold for player characters at level 10 through 30, 2,500 gold, 31 through 50, and 25,000 gold, 51 or higher. Now, I don't know what the lower levels rates were before, but it used to be 10K for what I don't know what it started at, but max, maybe, but max, no, because you definitely couldn't take that on a level 1.
Really?
Yeah. Because then people would just make all level 1s and just move all that gold over.
Yeah, they make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's why they didn't allow it ever. But
no, I'm just saying Blizzard would make a lot of money if they paid to transfer all those level 1s.
Oh, yeah. But okay, so 25,000 gold is 15,000 more than the max was prior. It used to be 10K, so that's interesting.
I think they're trying to still encourage more transfers, right? Because we still have these really long queues on these really large servers, and a lot of people's reasoning behind not wanting to transfer is that they'll lose a ton of gold. Me, I would not lose any gold. I would be able to take every little bit of it with me at the old cap, and it would have been fine. But
you're not up to more gold now? I know Kim gave you... Nope.
Some tips on the auction house?
Yeah.
I have not done that yet, Bob.
Yeah, but I mean,
I've been a little busy.
I've made thousands just questing. Like, I mean,
Well,
going up to 77,
You're my sugar
I
daddy. That's what
believe.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I believe TSM, just not counting auction house, just counting quests and sold, because I'm not an enchanter, so I have to sell all of my greens. I think I've made
so I am an
4K
enchanter.
going up to level 77, and I've spent a ton too. I bought cold, like weather flying.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I am an enchanter, so I've just been disenchanting all my stuff that would have sold for a good amount of money, right?
True. Yeah, that is
And I'm a cook, so I cook all my food.
Yeah, the meat's not really selling for much at the moment, so I mean, don't feel too bad there. I've cooked all of my food too. You need to get on those cooking dailies because the northern spices you get for the cooking daily, I believe that's the only place you can get northern spices, and they're going for like 20 gold a pop on Benediction. You get 2 to 4 per daily.
I just got 75 before we logged out last night.
Just saying, you need to be, thinking ahead. Let's see. I'm going to have these in the notes, but I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm just kind of perusing through, looking if we need to talk about any of the different changes. Oh, so now that we're actually going to get to that in a second. Never mind. And I don't think we need to really. Yeah, we're good. We're good on those. Let's move on to the next, which is the battle for Undercity has been having some issues. So I don't know what the issues are. I'm sorry I didn't prepare as well as I normally do for these shows, but basically it's having problems. There's several problems there, and they're working to fix them. They have gotten a few fixes in, but they also added I think the biggest thing that they added is they added a enable disable option. So you can disable it and still get through, get past it. So I don't know if that means.
Because a lot of people were saying they couldn't even go to Orgrimmar, right?
I don't know that I heard that. I don't know why. It's the battle for Undercity, not Orgrimmar.
Oh.
And I honestly don't even know what the battle for Undercity is. I know I've done it. I thought it was in a dungeon. I thought it was in one of the dungeons in Caverns of Time. Like, someone in chat, can you help me out? I thought it was.
Is it just a horde thing?
No, I'm pretty sure it's, like how you go back in time and all the different dungeons in Caverns of Time.
Yeah.
Like, you go back to old South Shore and you do the one quest, I think this is in there somewhere, but I don't remember. It also could be a long quest line. I remember doing it. I remember it being epic, but I just don't remember anything about it. So, unfortunately, I can't tell you anything. All I can tell you is there is NPCs to disable it to allow you to, move on.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, the bronze dragon flight. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, and it's runes. I don't know, guys. I don't want to give you wrong info, but I can tell you that there's an NPC to turn it off. Oh, write into me, leave it in the comments how bad I am for not preparing and knowing exactly what was going on, but sorry. We're lucky to even get a show out this week. What else do we have here? All right, now is time to talk about the Northrend Adventuring Supplies. And before we tell you about the change, and stealth change, by the way, I found it out right when they did it, and they didn't give a blue post for a bit, but it was noticeable right off the bat. So first off, we start questing, and we start getting these Northrend Adventuring packs. And at first it was like, oh, Cool. All right. Wow, they just gave me a lot for that. Huh, you must just not get those often. Well, you know, like 30 minutes later, with 12 of them in my bag, I'm like, well, I better open these. And then all of a sudden, my bags are full. I'm sending so much crap to my freaking bank alt. And I'm just like, what is going on? I mean, you're getting like a dozen pots of different kinds, elixirs and everything.
Potions, yeah.
Like each scrolls. One. And you're getting them at a rate that you wouldn't believe. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it was to the point where I think Jasmine in our guild was like, elixirs on the auction house were going for less than you could vendor them for. Like people were just trying to get rid of them.
Well, and that's people just being silly and not paying attention to what things, because not everybody has add-ons like us. Like TSM easily tells you when you hover over the item, you can see what it vendors for. But these people just don't know that. So they're putting it on the auction house and they're actually taking a money hit because they're paying to post it on the auction house. Taking the auction house is taking their cut, and they're selling it for less than you can vendor it. Like you can literally go through. TSM has an option that lets you like go ahead and just look up, you know, things on the auction house that are selling for less than what they vendor for. And if you're ever hard up on cash, it can take a long time, but you can make a decent amount of money on just people that don't know that they're selling this stuff. Yeah. Like I remember there was one spot in the pre-patch where rune cloth was like, I mean, I bought like 1,000 of it and then freaking sold it like for almost double.
It?
Yeah. Cause
oh my God.
Yeah. They just like, it was just crazy, but yeah, it's something to watch for on the auction house. But yeah, if you're selling those pots for anything less than 50 silver is what they vendor for. So
okay, but here's the thing: is like we were getting so much stuff, and like Bob said, initially it was exciting, and then we were both kind of like, okay, this is too much, right? Like I never thought I'd say you're giving me too many consumes or too much stuff that's useful. But it's too much, right? Like it just was. And
it was way too much. And basically I was like, well, they just killed alchemy. I mean, alchemy is worthless now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's just like, why would you go gather stuff to make things?
Or anything, though. Like,
they weren't giving flasks, but, you know, I mean, health pots and mana pots, you know, were a really big, you know, moneymaker back, you know, in TBC and in Classic. And I mean, they're not going to be for a while now. But if you have a bunch of those pots and you didn't sell them or use them, you might hold on to the elixirs and stuff, because I've already seen the prices starting to go up. Oh, but we should tell everybody why. Okay. So pretty quickly, I don't know how many days it was, but I know it was basically
the 28th.
That's when the blue post came out, but that's not when the change hit. There wasn't a blue post for the entire day when the change. I believe the change was on.
The change was on the 27th. It released on the 26th.
No, the game released on the 24th.
No, the game released on the 26th, the Monday after my birthday.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, so the 27th was when it happened. Right.
No, it didn't, because we played all day on the 27th. It happened when I was out of town. It happened on the 28th.
It happened when you were sleeping.
No, it didn't. It happened while I was out of town. I promise you. It happened on the 28th. It might have just felt like a day, but maybe they didn't release the blue post until like later that night, and you noticed it in the morning.
Maybe. But either way, whatever. Okay, I don't think Scotty J's still in chat, but I messaged Scotty J. Actually, I could just look it up on my phone. I messaged him that night that it happened. And so maybe and let him know in case he wanted to do a video about it. So it was the 28th, but it was early in the morning, the 28th. And the blue post didn't come out until that evening, from what I saw. So that was a big old waste of time there, though. But where'd you go?
I'm back. Sorry.
Write this down.
So basically, they said that due to some feedback that the quests were too frequent, or the bonus rewards were too frequent, too lucrative, and too targeted at consumables produced by alchemists. And now they're making changes.
Like completely targeted.
Yeah.
It was just consumes. There were scrolls.
And said they're making changes to reduce the quantity and increase the diversity of items awarded by these bags. There's still a chance to drop consumables, but also a chance to drop ore, leather, cloth, herbs, or gems. So kind of spreading the wealth across all of the different professions. And
it's like a third of the materials, a third of the amount that you were getting. Because you were literally getting like a dozen.
When you would open one in the beginning, it was like 3 different, like it would be like, like 3 items and then scroll 6, and then 3 and then scroll and then 3 and then scroll and then 3 and scroll. And then now it's like you get like 5 items maybe.
Yeah, and you get like maybe 2 or 1 ore. And it's like cobalt ore. It's not I did get 1 ceradite, but in all the boxes I've opened since, I've only got one ceradite. You get leather, which really isn't worth crap right now. You get like, it seems more fair, and it seems a little less egregious. And I haven't heard of anybody except for Solheim Gaming pissed off about this change. He did a video, and I was cracking up because he was like, no one was complaining about this, the consumes, and now you've just nerfed gathering. And I was like, dude, it's not nerfed. Like, you don't get it's so random.
Gathering.
Most of the stuff you can't even use. It just gives your bank alt more work to do,
Oh my gosh, I know. And like parsing through, like, there are like 25 different elixirs, I feel like. And I'm like, oh God. And I just send them all to my bank alt. I finally got smart about it because I was sending so much stuff to my bank alt because my bags were so full and my bank's full. And I finally got smart about it and put like in my description text, like flasks or like elixirs. And then I'd do another mail that was like scrolls. So at least I could like go through them, and it wasn't like you open one mail and it's like 12 different random things in there.
See, I didn't do that. I was just like, send.
Listen, it helps me organize my life a little bit.
Oh yeah, but I don't know what, like, let us know what you guys think, but I think this was a good change to not just completely destroy alchemy. And it's really it's really not that much. We are getting way less, but for those people that leveled a bunch early on, I mean, you've got a ton of elixirs and stuff now. And if they're still going for cost on your server, I mean, you might invest a bit, because give it a month and those prices might be up 700%. So
right,
a little investment in the future for cheap. So that's that. And then, so the devs just want you to know that the Dalaran Engineering Auction House is the auction house that is only for engineers in Dalaran. It's the only engineers can use it. That's gone at the moment, but they're letting you know it is coming. It's just not there yet. It's just something that they maybe overlooked. So, but you're going to have to be a grand master to use it. So you're going to have 450 engineering to use it. So it's not like you can have a little low level engineering alt that you summon to Dalaran or something. So just heads up on that. I don't know why someone would do that, but maybe. All right. And what is the last thing? Okay, last thing is just a couple hot fixes. Let me see if we're going to read any of them. So, reliably allow players to enter or leave. Okay, so the Battle for Undercity, that's what it is. It's an instanced quest.
The instanced quest. Okay.
Yes, it's an instanced quest, which I've done a few of now, which are really cool because you're there by yourself. You don't have to tag mobs and try and... You haven't done any yet? Oh, we'll do a few pretty soon, probably tonight when we get to play. But yeah, if you haven't started the Battle for Undercity quest lines, you must complete the following quests to enter: Horde, Darkness Stirs, for Alliance, return to Angrathar. Yeah.
Oh, guys, here's a little tip. Okay, there's this quest in Dragonblight that you have to go like up this mountain and click on this stone and it summons this water beast. Okay. Apparently you can't be in a group when you do it. Okay. This is what worked for us. Somebody told us you couldn't be in a group. So I dropped group to try to do it, but you can't be in a group. Also, contrary to when Bob tells you to jump, don't jump until you get the debuff that tells you to jump. And then you have 30 seconds to jump into the water. And then it works. Okay. So Bob was very frustrated with this quest.
It's an awesome tip that you're just like, this one quest. It's in Dragonblight, like bottom right or bottom middle of the map. I forget what exactly it is, but you're going to the very southern point of the map. You're going up this mountain that's just a little bit in the water in the southern part of the map, and you go to the top. There's a pearl sitting on like a stone, and everybody has to do it one at a time. This big fish guy comes up, and when he gives you the debuff, you jump in.
Yeah. So how we found this out, funny story. Bob invites this guy to the group who's standing at the stone there, and the guy declines. And so Bob calls him mean names and say, nice enough mean names, but mean names like you're a jerk.
No, I said, oh, I didn't know you were a dick.
Yeah. And so he says, you can't group to do this quest. And Bob goes, well, you're still a dick. And he goes, really? You're going to double down on that? Like that?
I was like,
I'm just trying to give you some information. You can't
I was like, well, I kind of have to now because I look like a jackass. So, you're still a dick. Yep.
Yeah, he kept on it. He was right there. He was going for it.
Oh yeah, he had the absolute best responses. I was just like,
he did.
I was like, yep, I just got schooled.
100%.
It's like I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't know about Warcraft Reloaded.
Yeah, surprisingly, Bob didn't advertise during that interaction. I'm shocked. So then I dropped the group, and Bob's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, well, I'm going to try it, not in a group. He said we couldn't be grouped. He was so bad. He's like, this is such a waste of time. And
then she does it. And she's like, it works. And I was like,
he was even more mad.
And she's like, well, like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm waiting for the quest so I could do it outside of the group. It's just like, you just get upset at things like in the queue and everything else and being sleep deprived and not eating enough and not drinking enough water. I mean, if it hasn't happened to you, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to other people. Maybe you're just
very sad that he couldn't, give me a hug and, he was missing his oxytocin.
Definitely. Fixed an issue preventing heirlooms, Tome of Cold Weather Flying, Northrend Faction Helm Enchant Arcanums, and Sons of Hodir Shoulder Inscriptions from being transferable to other WoW accounts. Now, this is interesting. So you can have multiple WoW accounts on one BNet account. you can now send all those other things over across BNet. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, that really saves a lot of people that have multiple WoW accounts time. Doesn't save me anything because I don't put mine in the same BNet account. But I do that just because, like, you never know when you're going to get a weird, like,
you're going to call somebody a jerk in Dragonblight and you're going to get banned.
Well, you're not going to get you're not going to get banned for that. But the people that got banned in Alterac Valley, like, if they have one BNet account, I don't know. I think that they banned the whole, like, every account there. So someone could let me know if I'm wrong or right. But still, I'm not gonna combine them because I'm just not going to take a chance of not being able to play because some error or some bug. So. Is there anything else in here? Oh, no. ClassicGo in chat lets us know that AH is up in, or the engineering AH is now up in Dalaran and fixed. So that is fixed. It looks like.
Okay, right. There was something about Utgard Keep. So the door that closes when starting the Scarvald the Constructor in Dalaran the Controller encounter, is that the last boss?
Wait, hold on. Talking about
it's on a different one. It's on the one before about the
I closed it.
Supplies. But the Utgard Keep, remember when, like, if you wipe on the last boss, you can't go back to the last boss, like the door wouldn't open back up?
Well, we only tried that in beta though.
Yeah, no, but I've heard a couple of people in the Discord talking about it. And so I don't know if this is saying, because it says will properly open again once they are defeated. So that makes me think that it's maybe not the last boss. But I know people have been complaining about that, not being able to go try the last boss again.
I have no idea. Oh, we got logged out. Are you still watching your stuff?
I'm not logged out yet.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's it. That's the level.
That's all I've got for the news. I'm sorry, guys. This has been a really unprofessional and just kind of staggering through episode, but I mean, you probably welcome. Just zoned it all out too because you're just as tired as us. So this is, it is what it is. I hate using that term. I hate it. I hate it.
That's hilarious. I'm going to clip that.
But we're going to go ahead and send you to the interview with ClassicGo.
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right, we're here with ClassicGo. When he came on the show, it was his first time, and we had so much going on that week, we were not able to get his interview in. And we can't let that go. We have to interview first-time guests. It's just a part of the show, and it's something unique that we do, and I want to keep doing it. So had to get Go back. Welcome to the show, Go. How you doing?
I'm great. Stayed up all night, woke up early on that WoW grind for the rest of this last week of pre-patch.
Dude, I am full on in it. I'm actually getting to the point to where I have all of, my T's crossed and my I's dotted, like I'm getting to that point. And at that point, I'll be able to be like, okay, well, now I'll do the DK starting zone, or now I'll do, the other things. But I needed to get just everything locked away. Last night, got both of my characters, like 22 and 23 quests completed. Most of them dungeon quests, because I just worked up questing on those guys and never did the dungeons. So I was able to just do all of those from Hellfire on, and it's pretty cool that I'm going to be able to turn in those because they're like 22K a pop.
Yeah, I respect that grind. Everybody that's doing it, I haven't saved any quests. I'm just going straight to Northrend, but the amount of work people have put into spreadsheets for this quest gives this much. You need to have 10 of these items to turn in. So it's not taking up 25 quests in your log. You have all this other stuff. It's crazy, but I like it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's just a little extra. And I mean, most of them, I mean, half of them are dailies and half of them are dungeon quests. I was doing all of the dungeons anyhow on both the characters to get all of the achievements. So I figured, why not just stack these quests up instead of turning them in? You know what I mean? And
oh yeah,
and I think it's gonna work out pretty good. I'm pretty excited. But yeah, enough about that. Seems a little weird to ask you what you've been doing lately, but since you weren't on the start of the show for this show, what have you been doing lately?
I guess I could start with last night. I was doing something kind of weird. I've just been going all over the place. So I've been soloing anything and everything I can. And last night it was Dire Mall. So I did Dire Mall East, West, and then North. And that was for the achievement. I haven't been doing much achievement stuff, but I'm at the point where I almost have all the gold I want. I wanted 25K for launch. 24,200, 300, something like that. So I was like, let me take a break from finishing off the gold and go clear some random dungeon. So yeah, that's one of the dungeons, but I've done a lot of TBC dungeons too. One night I started to work my way up. I started from Ramparts and I just went as far as I could go. And I think I stopped at Old Hillsbred. So yeah, I've just been soloing stuff, making gold, doing PvP. I've got 4 of the 5 PvP mounts. And then I get back to honor cap, go back in, buy another mount. So yeah, just everything.
Oh man, we had the old Hillsbrad. I had a rough time with that the other night. Luckily, chat saved me. But first off, I had the group set as raid, so we couldn't do the quest. And you have to do the quest to get to the next dungeon, right? If you haven't done it. So I had to just raid. We get done, and I'm like, wait, we didn't finish the quest. And then chat was like, I think you still have it set to raid. I was like, oh my god. So we're like, all right, we got to go back in and do it. So we went back in, and my warrior had done the quest, and I was using him to, basically like muscle us through everything. And the rogue was, on the other tab. And I go and I let Thrall out, and the chat's like, stop. You have to accept the quest before you let him out. And then chat was nice enough to tell me that if I let him die, he'll spawn really quick. And I was like, I hope you guys aren't messing with me. But he did, and luckily we didn't have to run it a third time. So, but you've been soloing all of them, huh? That's cool.
Yeah, I've been trying, yeah. And if people don't know, I'm a balanced druid. So yeah, I'm trying to solo everything as a balanced druid, not switching to feral and cheating and being a tank. No, I'm sticking with the balanced druid, trying to solo stuff. So
that's awesome. I saw you were doing some trick the other day. I saw it. I can't remember what it was, but you were using the pummeler from Numerigan, the haste weapon that has 3 charges on each of them. What were you doing with that?
Well, it changed now to where it's a 1-hour cooldown. There's no charges on it. So yeah, I went in there. Somebody was asking me something in the chat, and I went out and I farmed it. Of course, it took 6 tries. So I got locked out after the first 5 that I did in 15 minutes. Then I had to go find something else to do, come back. But there's a way to use it. It has to stay equipped. So it's like the fights were so short in Sunwell in pre-patch that it's like if you enchant it with 30 spell power, because the item level of it has to be 30. It can't be one of the newer ones. And then same with the weapon oil. You have to use a weaker weapon oil. So you're losing all these stats, but the amount of haste that thing has, it's like 500 haste.
I think it was 400 when before pre-patch, but you just told me something I didn't know. I have 2 twinks, level 29 twinks. One of them's a pally. He has 3 pummelers because I was just going to use them for a rainy day when I couldn't beat somebody in, Twinkland. I didn't
Yeah.
know that it had a 1 hour cooldown. I wonder if 3 of them, I wonder if they're like connected. Like, I wonder if I can equip the other one. Now I'm going to have to try that after we're done.
Yeah, but that was something like if you started the fight with it, you put up your opening spells and everything, pop your treants out, and then use that during lust, your Starfire cast gets down to like 1 second. You can get it to like the GCD cap for Starfire. So it'd be something fun to do. I never ended up doing it. I had somebody say that they were going to try it, but I haven't heard if anybody actually has. But I just thought, how funny would that be to be on the top of the meter of your raid with a crowd pummeler?
That would be funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I had someone in my chat come in and yell that they needed to nerf that, and they needed to nerf the Rod of the Sun King, which is what rogues are using to do some
Fell
crazy.
Striker.
Yeah, Fell Striker. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be farming Fell Striker later, so I hope they don't do that,
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Well, all right. Well, let's get into you. When did you first start playing WoW? Like back in the day, like original retail?
I don't remember the year, but I remember I had got to level 50, 51, and then TBC came out. So I started in vanilla back in high school with my buddies and took a couple breaks here and there because I don't know how to describe it, how to compare it to anything, but it's like I play one game at a time and I focus on that one game. So people are like, what other games do you play? And I'm like, nothing. Like I play one game. If I find something else, I'll go play something else and just completely forget of the other game. So I was like, Call of Duty came out. I'd switch. All my buddies would play Call of Duty, and then a new WoW expansion would come out. I'd go back to WoW. So
I definitely have a main online game. Prior to coming back to Classic, I was just exclusively almost played Overwatch exclusively, but I do take breaks to play single player games, on like the Xbox and stuff. And when I take a break, I usually go hard on that. And the only thing that keeps me coming back to WoW when I'm like doing a week or two of, a single player playthrough is like basically raids. Like I have to come back for raids, but typically that's when I've raid logged back in the day. It's what I love about Classic now is that you can raid log. It's a beautiful thing, that like I think people don't understand that it's a good thing, like to be able to take those types of breaks. But I'm getting off topic. So how long did you play for? So you said you took a lot of breaks.
Yeah. I did a little bit of Wrath, Kata, Mists. I think Warlords of Draenor is where I stopped playing. I don't think I played Legion at all, BFA, or Shadowlands. So the last 3 expansions I haven't played.
What made you actually not come back?
I don't even know what it was about Legion, but just the changes of the game, expansion to expansion. I don't know if there was one single thing. The garrisons I thought the garrisons were kind of cool, but maybe it was like LFR. The whole LFR thing was kind of weird.
Yeah, that's one of them that I didn't like.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any one thing that stood out. It was just the game was changing, and I didn't have time for it. Like the job that I had back then, I had to like fully commit to the job, so I wasn't playing much of any video games for that little bit of time either.
Yeah, I think for me back in the day, like I was usually in like Wrath, Kata, and Vanilla, not TBC, but those 3 I was in, hardcore guilds and hardcore progression guilds, and that was, a 5-day a week, 5 to 8 hour a night thing. And I think I always just quit because I felt guilty, and I also got burnt out, but I felt guilty about playing so much and having to play so much. That's why Classic's been so wonderful coming back. But yeah, it's interesting because most guests we have on, did quit WoW, but they all like came back for the start of each of each expansion. You know, like that seems to be a common theme, and it's, you know, it seems to be rare to find a creator that didn't, you know, that actually quit and never came back until Classic. So it's interesting. So why'd you come back to Classic? Like what got you to come back?
I mean, that itch for those 3 expansions was always there, and I had to scratch it to come back and play. And Classic seemed like a really cool idea. I'd never done all the raids in vanilla. I PvP'd mostly back then when I was playing, so I never went hardcore in any raid scenario. And when I came back, I really got into it, doing like Molten Core, BWL, every single phase of Classic. I just got more and more hooked into like raiding, and I was a balanced druid, so it was like trying to push that as far as I could. And there weren't too many people playing balanced druid, so it was kind of like I wanted to get it more represented and hopefully get more people to play it throughout Classic and TBC. And now everyone's jumping on for Wrath, so it's pretty cool to see everybody start to actually play it.
That is awesome. So you came back like right at the start of Classic.
I think it had been out for at least a month, and then I came back.
Okay.
Because Molten Core had already been cleared and stuff before I started to level up. So,
well, Molten Core was cleared in what, like under a week, like by people level 58s and blues and stuff. Like I forget who exactly did it, but yeah, it was fast. But yeah, I worked up a little slow. But what made you choose Balanced Druid? Like when you heard from everybody that it was a meme spec and everything, you know?
I guess I got to give credit to my fiance, because I had started playing a mage. So I leveled up my mage, and I was trying to be different with my mage and not just be like the whole Arcane Frost build, spamming frost bolts, topping the meters. And it just wasn't hitting for me like it had in the past. So I tried Druid. She had made a Druid. It looked fun. I was like, she's a big old bird over there casting starfires. I was like, let me try that out. And I leveled that up and never looked back.
Never looked back. Well, I mean,
yeah,
a lot of people, you know, wouldn't let people go boomy in their raid or ret stuff. And like, that was really the time to do it. I mean, you could clear Molten Core. After you got a little gear, you could clear Molten Core like with 20 people, 25 people, you know. It was like, why stop people from having fun, you know? But people wanted to parse. And the faster you get kills, the better your parse is. So, you know, and with 40 people, it's hard to find 40 people that are just chill. You know, you're always going to get, you know, at least 10 of them parse lords in there that care way more than everybody else. You know, I was one of them. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh yeah, I got all the world buffs. I got the Songflower, the Darkmoon Fair week. That was always the best week of the month. It was the most stressful, but it was always the most fun.
What server were you on in Classic Vanilla?
It was Azure Song. I think it's a West Coast PvE server.
Were you? It's a PvE server. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, your life had to be much easier to get that buff.
Yeah, I heard all the griefing stories on PvP realms, and I'm glad I was on PvE.
Yeah, the worst part about it, like, was just the purges. Like,
yeah,
the purges were just like, we had so many different strategies to get our buffs, and like we knew exactly if we jumped on a flight path, it would drop our PvP flag. Because Shammies would be in Stormwind and they would just res and try to purge whoever they could, you know, and it was always nerve wracking. But when I think back on it fondly. When at the time I remember hating it.
Yeah, it sounds like something that would have been cool to have like experienced 1 week, but dealing with that every week after week, I would have lost my mind.
It was crazy the links you'll go to once you once you put your mind to something, and then all of a sudden, you know. But the worst part about it wasn't even the griefing; it was just the being forced to raid log. I remember the first time somebody told me they were getting the dire maul buffs really like hours before raid. And I was like, well, shouldn't we do it right before raid? And they're like, oh, well, they're just going to get them and then log, so it keeps them. And I was like, then I can't play.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, well, yeah, they just make alts for that. And I was like, I want to play with my warrior that I struggled with to level up. What? Very, very weird concept to me, coming back from, you know, actually playing in vanilla and nobody getting world buffs until hitting the wall of Nax, you know, like that was weird. But so you only play Boomy. That's it. Nothing else.
For now, yeah. I started off Classic with I had a rogue at max level and a mage, and the mage I did from Molten Core halfway through BWL. Then that's when I switched, and the rogue was just kind of like an alt. I used it to mine an herb, and I did like the 10 mans on it, and I think I did like a Molten Core on it, but it was a couple phases in, and I never really got much going with the rogue. Yeah, it was just my farming alt. I hadn't leveled a second druid yet, but I've got 5 druids now. So
what? Whoa, hold on! I didn't know this. 5 different druids.
Yeah. I have 3 alliance, which is funny because I main horde, so I have more alliance now than horde. But yeah, I've got 3 on one server, and then 1 on 2 other servers.
What was the reasoning for that? Like, were some of them hardcore or something, or like, what was you just like the leveling process?
One of them, like, well, I started on Azure Song. I'm on Mankirk now, so I had a horde and an alliance on Mankirk, and then back in April, our horde guild switched servers to Mankirk, so I transferred my 1 druid over, and then I had been using my alliance druid as a farming alt, and I would use the Booty Bay neutral auction house. So I would farm herbs and mines on my alliance and ship it over to my horde tune. And then once I transferred my horde tune, I didn't have that option anymore, so I had to level up a second druid, and I just made a second horde tune, so I didn't have to go through the whole auction house thing. And then my fiance plays on a different server. We both started on Azure Song. She went to Westfall. So I leveled up a tune on her server so I can play with her. And I just boosted the 70 boost, a 3rd druid. It's for a secret reason I can't disclose yet. Oh. Maybe in 2 weeks after launch, I can explain what that one's about. But yeah, I have a
teaser there.
Yeah, I've got the 3 on 1 server now. So
you'll have to go to ClassicGo on YouTube to find that out later. So
yeah.
Well, you said you play both, but are you Alliance? Are you Horde?
For the Horde.
Oh no! Oh, just I'll have to throw this in.
For the Alliance.
I mean, the racial's kind of balanced out now because you only have Tauren or Night Elf for Druid. So Shadow Meld wasn't too great for anything PvE really. And since I do dabble in PvP a little bit, but War Stomp in dungeons or on trash, being able to stun something it's a nice little mechanic to have. Now Shadow Meld can help you out a little bit. You can drop your threat for a minute, and if you rip from your tank, you can Shadow Meld, and then you come out of Shadow Meld, you get your threat back. But at least if you pull, you can immediately get rid of your aggro for a minute there.
That's not bad. Can you War Stomp in Boomy form?
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yep. A stomping chicken.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to have to learn a lot about boobies because it was really rare you'd see one in arenas. Like you'd see them sometimes in BGs, but The arena ones oftentimes would pretend to be a healer, like right at the start, and then switch to booby just to trick you, just blow you up.
Oh yeah.
It may or may not have happened to me many times.
It's like, oh, it's a resto druid. Just leave it alone. It's fine.
So you're a little different. You stream exclusively on YouTube and not on Twitch. I think we've talked about this, but I don't think we talked about it on the show. Why did you choose YouTube over Twitch?
So I started out streaming on Twitch, I think, before I even started on YouTube. But it never grew anywhere. I would stream for 10, 12 hours and it'd just be me. You know, that viewer count number would just stay zero, a goose egg the whole stream. And I was like, that's fine, like whatever. And then when I started making YouTube videos, it's been 6-7 months now, and I finally hit like that 1K subscriber mark on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, now I can stream. I have that option. And I started streaming on YouTube maybe like a month ago. And like the first stream, there was like 25, 30 people hanging out. I was like, wow,
nice.
this is cool. Like there's an interaction. There's people like chatting with me. Like I can talk and throw ideas back and forth. And then like 2 days after I started doing that on YouTube, I got affiliate on Twitch, and I was like, "Oh, it's too late now." Like, like I'm not gonna set up 2 different like streaming sites. And I was like, everything's already set up on YouTube. I'm just gonna chill on YouTube. But it does have its downsides. I'm jealous of Twitch because you can listen to any music you want to, split it from your VOD, and still have your VOD available. Anything on YouTube, I get copyright strikes on every single stream. Even if it's like the NCS music, it gets claimed. So like you're not getting strikes to have your channel get taken down, but the owners of the
they're
music,
claiming the revenue from it.
Yeah. So I'm streaming for 10, 12 hours still, and it like the ad revenue gets claimed, but it's whatever. Like I'm not streaming for the money or like the subs or anything. So it's there so that I can talk to people.
Yeah, that's weird. I didn't realize that YouTube didn't have that capability. They just don't give you a track that's not recorded on the VOD in OBS, because in OBS it's like track 2, and you just set your browser and stuff to a different music source or different output source, and then it plays during stream, but not on the VOD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people stream simultaneously on both Twitch and YouTube, but according to the rules, I don't know about YouTube's rules, but at least Twitch's rules is if you're affiliate, you're not allowed to stream on multiple platforms. I don't think any affiliate has been disciplined for that. I know partners will get disciplined big time, but I haven't seen one happen, but it's kind of a weird chance to take, like I thought about doing it, but then I was like, what if it comes back to haunt me there,
Yeah.
But okay, so what let's start with your stream and then we'll get on. Well, no, because you did your videos first. Let's start with your videos. Like what types of videos do you make on YouTube?
It's slowly been branching out. It started off more as like single boss guides and stuff like that. So it'd be like how to tank Kigler in Gruul's Lair, like how to improve your parse on like Magtheridon, and like every single boss in like Karazhan. So like every phase, like I would do whatever the current raid tier was. I would come out with like what to do, like what spells to use. Like nothing really changed talent wise really in TBC, but I made videos on like what meta gem to use, like and why, and what else? It's just like a lot of information, and it was kind of just like spreadsheets and stuff like that, and a lot of math, like a lot of what do they call it? Napkin math. So like theory crafting and stuff. I'm really into theory crafting and figuring out what spells work with what talents and what's going to be the best thing to do. And then going from classic to TBC, I did the whole what consumes change, mm, what spells change, like all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then now I did a couple gold making videos. I kind of shot myself in the foot with that because now every time somebody comes into the stream, they're like, "Oh, what are you're doing Dire Maul East? How much gold per hour is Dire Maul East?" I'm like, dude, I'm just doing it for the achievement. Like,
oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
Well,
I do some interviews too, not nearly as well as you do, but I've started to enjoy doing that more and more. Like at the end of a phase, I'll find who did the top damage as a balanced druid in the raid tier and try to get them on and ask them, if they have any advice and go through some stuff with them.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, it's kind of funny because you went from a pretty niche market to you have the opportunity to kind of blow up now if you're doing balanced druid stuff because they are extremely viable now and people are having a blast. Do you think they'll be as like I don't remember a lot of boomy stuff in the beta. Do you think they'll be as good as they are right now at 80?
It's looking like right now in the pre-patch, if it's anything, that it's going to be at 80. I know a lot of stuff changes, but arcane mages are still pumping and rogues are still pumping single target. So I think we'll be up there with those three. If there's another class that's up there single target too, then yeah, I think we'll be up there. But all these tier lists came out and we're like 3 tiers down. I'm like, oh, really? So that just encourages me more to just try to talk to as many people as I can, get as much feedback as I can from everybody else to try to see how we can be in that top 3.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's just basically the gear because like right now is a weird time because we're basically with end game gear and at 80 we're going to be going back down to where our levels of haste and everything else are quite a bit lower, because of the way leveling up works. Like, it's going to be crazy because on my warrior, he's like super prot geared. But once I hit like level 75, I'm going to lose like, if I'm using the same gear, like I'm going to be losing like 5% off each, dodge, block, parry, because of just the how much less that 25 defense gives me at that next level. So it'd be interesting to see how. That's why I planned on dungeon grinding till 75 and then questing after that because I just feel like it'll be real easy early on, but then it'll probably like slow down a bit. I could be wrong, but we'll just have to see. Do you kind of curious what's your just a tangent here. What's your plan for leveling up in Wrath?
I'm on Mancrick, and our server pop has doubled since the pre-patch launched. So we're at like 14 or 15k now. We had gotten down to 7 or 8k. So I think there's just going to be a lot of people out there. I don't know how the respawn rate thing changes. If there's a certain amount of people in an area, they respawn quicker. I don't know any of that sort of stuff, but if I can, I would prefer to just open world AoE grind. And then if it's too contested, I'm not doing the whole layer swap thing. That's too much. That's too much work for me. I'm like, if it's contested open world, then I'll go solo Utgard Keep if that's not nerfed. I checked that out 2 days ago now, and it still doesn't have like the mechanics that are in live right now. Like the whole, if you're in combat for a minute, you start getting stunned by the mobs and everything, and you can't slow them after 30 seconds. None of that's been put in yet, so I'm hoping it stays that way, and I can level a couple levels in Utgard Keep. And then
I didn't
after
even
that,
think about that. Yeah, if they put that in there, oh man.
Yeah, after that, back to open world grinding. If I can pump out some levels in Utgard Keep, maybe get not ahead of the pack, but keep up with like the top people that are there, like pumping out, and then go back to open world grinding in certain spots that I can't talk about.
You've got your spots planned out, but you're not telling anybody, huh?
Yeah. And then even still, like there's the guild might have some dungeon groups going, so I might fill in there, do some 5-mans. It's always fun to not do everything completely solo. So maybe hop in there, but the guild I was in back in Classic going to TBC, there was some drama in the guild 5-man groups that were leveling up. You know, somebody didn't log on in time and there's 4 people waiting trying to level up, and yeah, there's a couple of issues with that. So like I don't want to have drama, but I want to play with people. I want to dungeon up with a group of guildies. So we'll see.
Yeah, it was fun for me for the first day or two, and then I was like, I can't hang out with these people anymore. I got, it's, you know, and like they felt the same way. It was, you know, it wasn't like I was the only one. Like it was rough. But so I played the beta quite a bit and did quite a bit of questing, and it seems like almost everything in Northrend is a hyperspawn. Like it seems like they must have taken the tech from that to create the hyperspawns when they started sticking them in Classic. Because, I mean, even when a place was pretty crowded and everybody's killing stuff, like the stuff was spawning. Like sometimes, like going solo, it was spawning so fast, like I couldn't keep up. Like my warrior was fine in Prot, but my rogue, I kept like, my actual like geared rogue was on a different account that didn't have beta, so I had to make like a level 70 template rogue, and with the gear that they gave me, I was just getting clapped on those first quests in Howling Fjord, and yeah, it was crazy because everything was just spawning so quick. So I think you might be okay.
Yeah, I started the quest because, you know, no add-ons at the start of it. That's when I was leveling up. And
Same.
Doing it without the add-ons, I was like, dude, there's no way I'm questing to level. Like, this is horrible. But I've heard it's better with Questy. I haven't used Rested XP, but I hear you have an affiliate link now, so maybe I can take advantage of that and try Rested XP.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, Rested XP. Thanks for the plug. Use coupon code Reloaded, and there will definitely be a link to it below in the description. Yeah, Rested XP. I don't want to get on a rant about that, but like now I just don't even want to level without it. Like it was crazy. Me and Mel did Joyous Journeys and she worked up a paladin and I worked up a priest. And we got to a point to where it told us to go to Shadow Moon Valley, but there were so many more quests in Netherstorm, and we just wanted to go to Netherstorm. And so we just had Questy, and I was like, I don't like this anymore. I want Rested XP. Like I just love seeing as you level through, I love seeing what those guys came up with to be quickest, and every time constantly I'm like, oh, smart, because it'll have you do 2 quests right outside town, and then you come back in, but then you get 4 more quests that are in the quest areas you're already needing to go to, and you're like, dude, that's awesome, because I would have had to go to that spot twice, and they just have all that figured out, and it's just neat to see. So yeah, you should definitely try it. I quested in the beta reading, and it was definitely a little rough. Like I was just like, I'm gonna read now. And there were so many quests that were like, and then return to me. Like, and most quests, and like TBC will at least say who you're returning to. Like, there were so many quests that did not say specifically who you were returning to, and then the map wasn't completely labeled in all the different spots, and it was definitely trying at times. Then some quests were broken, so like you're like, well, is this just not working? And then the new quests where you get in vehicles were real interesting too. But yeah, I was just curious. So what are your plans for videos going in the future? You said you've been soloing a lot of stuff. Are you going to make videos on that stuff too? Or are you going to wait till 80 for that?
Yeah, I'd wait till 80, and maybe like Halls of Stone is something I've been talking about as like a gold farm. I don't think I did it. I lost track. There's been so much going on since the beta. I don't know if I've made a video about that or not, but yeah, maybe a couple things like that soloing wise, but definitely advice on like new balance druids on how to do Naxxramas like boss by boss, Sarth 3 Drakes, all the raids. I'll be doing something for that.
Is this your first push at content creation, or did you do anything else prior to Classic WoW?
I did make videos back in the day. It was a separate account, and it was back in WoW. I even made some old like Halo 2 montages back in the day.
To Linkin Park music, I would assume.
Yeah, something like that. And yeah, I did a couple like PvP things back in the day for Mage. I wasn't really good. Like I got 2K rating like once, but yeah, I dabbled in it a little bit. You know, I'd get those 50, 60 views and be hyped. Like, yeah, this video's popping off.
That's what we used to get on YouTube when we put our podcast on YouTube, like episode, it's somewhere in the 20s or 30s. And I was just like, why do I do this? It gets like 100, 200 views. I'm just like, all right, well, I'll keep doing it because like those people want to watch it. But it was so depressing, you know, like just looking at the ton of downloads we get on audio, and then looking at this YouTube. It's a little better now, but like just looking at it and being like, and then I'd try to get guests on, and I have to do this cringy thing where I send them like, you know, chartable.com and show them that the podcast is big, because everybody goes straight to YouTube to look you up, you know, like all the content creators, they don't get the whole podcast market. And so I have to be like, no, we are actually a thing. Just letting you know, but so what made you decide to do the content creation now? Like what made you like, just because there wasn't a lot of boomy info, I would assume maybe?
Yeah. Back in Classic, there was like one guy, Wooey was his name, and he made videos, and I kind of liked like his little style that he had. It was like information, theory crafting, you know, should we be casting Wrath instead of Starfire? And I'm like, oh, should we? Let me watch this video. So it was like just him that I ever saw making balance druid stuff in Classic. And then TBC rolled out. I'd started to make videos too. So like, I hope he didn't view me as competition. Like I've never talked to him, but he stopped making videos. So I was like, well, now I've got to fill those shoes. Like, let me start making videos. If somebody else comes along and they're doing better than me, like I'll let them do their thing, but nobody showed up in TBC. So I was like, well, let me just keep it going. And then now Crix, you know, Crix.
Oh yeah, Crix.
He said he's gonna be playing Balance Druid, and he's made a couple of videos on Boomy already. So now it's like I don't view him as competition. Like I like that. I like having multiple views about the class. So it's like we can bounce stuff off of each other, me and him.
Oh yeah, well, and it like most of the people that I've met in the space. It's a really good space right now. It's not I don't see a lot of people really really viewing other people as competition, and like it seems like everybody's real cool about rating the other classic streamers or creators, and it just seems we're all collaborating. I mean, this whole show is collaboration, and it's been a real healthy space for a good amount of time now, and it seems like lots of the creators are just buds, and like I recently was able to monetize our YouTube channel, and I immediately reached out to Scotty J, Crix, Sarth, like a few different other people, because I was like, I don't know what to click on this monetization tab. This is a whole new thing. Like I've never done this on YouTube, and they helped me out, and real cool about everything. And then I always say, like, anytime someone starts a new classic podcast, like I welcome them to come on and talk about their pod, and I want more podcasts. Like I love listening to podcasts just as much as I love making this show. So yeah, if you ever want me to, maybe advertise at the end of a show one of your interviews or something, just let me know, and I can definitely do that. But I hope people don't feel that way, because I want more diverse information.
Yeah, and the Season of Mastery interviews I've done haven't done so well view wise, so maybe try to hype up some Season of Mastery. I know it's ending in a couple weeks, I think, but yeah, if there's a second Season of Mastery, we got to get some stuff going with that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it died out after Road to Rag, man. It died out, and there was a lot of hype for, hardcore gaming. But then once that died out, it just was kind of like, well, there's still a few people doing it, but they're having a good time. They're living their life. We represent them whenever we have Duratasaur on the show, because we can't really talk about it. We don't play it, so he comes on and helps us a little bit. But so you played Season of Mastery then too? I didn't even know that. Yeah. I leveled up a druid.
I got it to 60.
Starting to see a trend here.
Yeah, there's a bit of a trend. And I was kind of disappointed because, they were making some good changes. They did add a little bit of hit gear, which Boomies really needed early on. And even still with like the 4 or 5% hit that you could get in Molten Core, resist 5-6 times in a row on Fairy Fire. I can only do that so many times and be like, all right, this isn't fun.
Yeah, man.
So I got to 60. I didn't clear Molten Core. I got to a couple attempts in on Rag, like 1 week, and then the server transfer opened up on the server, and most of the guild left. And I was like, well, I'm just going to focus back on TBC. So I never got to do BWL, AQ40, Nax there, but it was cool to reach out. Like I would make a level 1 tune on the server. I'd find out, what Boomy is topping BWL. Let me have them. Let me reach out, do an interview with them, see what changes were in BWL. Like how did they tackle it as a boomkin? So that was pretty cool to talk to other people that were playing.
Did you ever try hardcore?
No. No. I would get so frustrated.
I thought so too, but it sucked me in. Like I raid logged TBC for like a whole tier almost, because I was working up my 2 tunes and I died so many times on my rogue, and every time it made me even more angry and wanting to beat it even more. Like it was just like
Yeah. And now those reset spots in the dungeons I was doing in Dire Mall yesterday, you can hop up on the ledge in Dire Mall North and like reset the mobs. Like, nope, they just teleport right up to you now. So there's some more risk if people are starting to do it. In Wrath, I bet like it might be a little bit harder.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, yeah, I haven't done the achievement for Dire Mall yet. I wasn't quite sure if I could solo it on the warrior, but I'm pretty positive now. I've like the warrior is just absurdly powerful. I just can't believe it. Oh, but okay, so you also stream. What's a typical stream like? Like, what do you normally do?
Uh, I I try to do just gameplay, but sometimes like if I'm theory crafting something, I'll have the stream on and it'll just be me like with a spreadsheet, like crunching numbers and stuff. But usually I'm just on there doing any and everything. So like this whole pre-patch, I'll stream, I'll do like gold farming. People can come in and ask like, how much gold an hour is this? Like, what are you selling on the auction house? I'm like, yo, mage weave is 6-7 gold a stack right now. Wool is 10-11 gold a stack. Like, go to ZF, farm some mage weave, go to Stockades, get some wool, and post the stuff on your auction house if it's working for you. A lot of PvP. There's a lot of boomies doing PvP streaming too, and I don't think that ever gets old. Having Typhoon knock people off of ledges, off the map, knocking them off the towers in AV.
It gets old for the people getting knocked off.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like the same person. Like I'll sit in a tower in AV and wait, and the first person on the alliance that comes up the tower, I'll knock them off, and they just waddle back up. Come back up, I knock them off again. I'm like, what, did you not learn?
Oh man, it's so funny.
Yeah, but I try to stream every raid. So like tonight I'm doing Sunwell, Black Temple Hyjal. So I'll be streaming all of that. Any raid, even if it's ZA, I'll stream a ZA. But yeah, I'm there for if people want to ask questions. If they want to see like what rotation I'm doing, what spec I'm doing, what gear I'm wearing. Like I have the whole like command thing kind of set up with Nightbot, so I can be like, "Oh, here it is. Here's my gear. This is what I'm doing."
Nice. So, like, how would you describe your raids? Like, are they all guild raids? Are they casual? Are they sweaty casual? Are they pretty hardcore? Or are you like top end raiding?
No, not top end raiding. Sweaty casual sounds kind of good for now. But I think it's going to be more focused towards the sweaty side and Wrath. So I just joined a new guild in pre-patch, like the first week of pre-patch. And so like we've been getting to know each other, feeling everybody out. There's not like a comp requirement. We're not like sat there like we need this spec, this class every single raid. It's a 26 or 27 person roster. So I like that smaller roster. The guild that I left was going to a 30-man roster, and it was like you got to sit once every 6 weeks, and I'm like that's too much. Like I don't want to sit that often. I want to raid. If maybe like once every 10 weeks, I'd be fine sitting. But yeah, this guild is it's a new style of loot for me. It's a loot list guild.
Oh,
if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
So I left Loot Council guild for a loot list guild, and yeah, hopefully we're not doing like speed running, but I think the intention is to get in there and kind of parse a little bit, but do speed as well, but not have it super strict.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of strategy to how you set your list up. It sounds interesting to me, but I've heard it can really screw you over if you do it wrong. So hopefully you have help.
Yeah. Oh, I got to reach out to a fellow boomy. She had done loot list all at TBC, so hers is due in like 2 days, and mine's not due for another 2 weeks. So I'm hitting her up to try to help me out with what I should put where.
Nice. Oh, well, I feel like you already answered this question about do you stream any other games? You said you play one game, so probably not.
Yeah, no. If I could stream mobile, maybe I would do some like Pokemon Go streams, but I haven't even been playing that recently. But no, just WoW, just classic WoW. No retail. I'm not doing like Shadowlands beta, or is that what it is right now? That's out.
No, Dragonflight
beta. Yeah. I'm not doing any of that.
Talking about Pokemon Go streaming, my friend Not Rob does that.
Oh,
He
cool.
streams to like a couple hundred people too doing it. He somehow hooks I don't know if he's using that that software that lets you like basically create an Android phone on your computer. I forget what it's called, but he streams it and he does a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't ever understand what's going on when I go to his stream, but if you like Pokemon Go, at Not Rob on Twitch. Oh, well, okay, so where's what did I want to? Oh, is there anything that makes your content like you unique? I would say that like you doing the spreadsheets and stuff right on stream is pretty unique. I don't see that a lot.
Yeah, I've kind of started to do like a whole Google document spreadsheet thing. So it's just got like a whole bunch of tabs, and it seems to be like a nice way to have information available. Like I have Discord too, but I'm not too familiar with Discord, so I have a couple different like text channels and stuff with a couple of pins of like specs and everything. But I don't know if I'm like really unique. I just feel like I'm just streaming, having fun.
That's what I do. I do all kinds of random weird stuff. I'm like, well, what am I going to do today? Like,
that's a bad plug for myself, but I mean,
same. Usually my stream titles are something like just putzing around, like there's no rhyme or reason. Usually I'll wake up with be like, oh, I want to do this today. And I'd just go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, anything else you'd like to add before we get out of here?
I think I had a question for you the other day. It slipped my mind now. I should have like typed it out somewhere.
Wonder if it was pertaining to something I was doing on stream or something you heard on the show, maybe.
Yeah, it was probably with the show. I've been watching that show every week, so.
Awesome. Thank you.
I don't know. I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes thinking, with some dead silence there. But
I was just, we were just, building it up.
Yeah, I know. As soon as like we end the call, we end the stream and everything, 10,000 questions are going to come up or things like I'm like, man, I should have talked about that.
Story of my life. Oh, I've got one last question. This is a question I always forget to ask. How'd you come up with your name? How'd you come up with that name?
It's weird. So it used to be. Is there like do we have a language filter on this at all?
No.
No? Okay. It's nothing crazy, but it's a little edgy, I guess. So my name somehow, long story short, was Get Pooped On. So the abbreviation was GPO. And that's like what my mage was in Classic. It was like a couple different versions. It's like GPO, it's GPO, like all that stuff. And then when I switched to Boomy, I switched it from GP to GHO. So the boom can dance. There's some hip action. So it's Get Humped On. It's something dumb. I'm a child. Like I never put that in there. Like it's just something that I know that it stands for, but nobody else really knows that that's what it meant when I made the tune.
Yeah, we had a guildie that made a character named Wop Slime, and I mistakenly asked him what that meant. It goes to a song.
Yeah. Cardi B, I think.
Yep.
Is that who it is?
Yep. And then adding the slime to the end of it is just what really I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. There was a rogue and an AV I did the other night. I think their name was like Booger Froth or something like that. And I was like, man, that's kind of gross. But and then it just got pronounced like instead of GHO, people were just calling me Go. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. I can live with that. And then my fiance and her friends call me the Ho. The G is silent. I'm just the Ho.
Oh, that's great. Joe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and find your content?
Yeah, youtube.com. Just type in Classic Balance Druid or anything like that. But ClassicGo is the channel name on YouTube.
Awesome.
All Boomkin, all classic Boomkin stuff.
And I'll be giving my where to find me at the end of whatever show this is on. All right. Thank you. We're going to send you back to closing out the show. Follow there. Works great. We tweet out every time we go live. You can also follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. We want you to talk to us more. We want your emails. Send those to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join our Discord and interact with the hosts of this show or any hosts on the MASH network, it's mash.gg/Discord. How can you help the show? Well, you can give us ratings and reviews on iTunes. You can give us stars on Spotify. You can tell your guild about us. Recently I've been sponsored by Rested XP.
You?
Yeah, me. I mean, I advertise it on the show, but it's my sponsorship.
It's not our podcast sponsorship.
Well, I made the code, but no, it's mine. It's like,
Fine.
I mean, the podcast might have sponsors sometime in the future, but yeah, this one's mine.
Whatever.
But you can.
I'm gonna get my own code, and we'll see who gets more.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, it's yours too. It's just not owned by Warcraft Reloaded, but it is. It is a sponsor of the show and me. But it to help us out there, it's coupon code Reloaded on restedxp.com. And
a wonderful, wonderful way to level, guys. Wouldn't do it any other way.
Yeah,
even though Bob doesn't like to read it and then gets mad when he's like,
"Oh, I've changed. Yeah, I completely read it now, and I make fun of Cappy.
You've been testing without me for so long,
and I make fun of Cappy for not reading it. I'm like, yeah, well, it told you to hearth there. That's why it's hard to walk." So like it's just like you made fun of me for so long, and now I get to make fun of somebody else. Makes me happy.
Passing the torch.
But yeah, it's awesome. They also have a subscription plan for gold, but yeah, it's pretty dang awesome. And yeah, you can see us using it on stream anytime you pop in, and yeah, I won't quest without it now. It makes me angry to quest without it. What else can you do? Oh, Patreon. Patreon, we'll have the link in the description. The Patreon is a sponsor of the podcast. So we would love you to help us out there. That money goes directly to us, so it helps out quite a bit. Oh, all right. Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me in game on Mel Arena on Benediction.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And
on the show.
Well, you can also find Mel on my stream often.
True.
That's probably a better place than Benediction, to be honest. You're probably going to get her to talk to you more than in random tells.
I always talk back, usually.
Yeah, but are you going to answer a bunch of questions?
No.
Yeah, you'll probably answer them on stream.
I'm very focused on questing.
Yep. Yeah, so
unlike other distractions.
Yeah, so you can check us out on my stream at twitch.tv/blazonbob. You can also catch me on Twitter at blazon_bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. Is that it? I think that's it. Yep. I think that's it. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. And we will see you next week. Hopefully live, but definitely recorded from TwitchCon. See you later, guys.
Bye.
I'm just writing down timestamps so it makes it easier on post. Oh, all right, dudes, get ready for the interview from ClassicGo. You're going to love it. I loved it. I had a great time. Thank you guys for hanging out and talking and chat. And yeah, we're going to get this interview back up and rolling, and we will see you afterwards leveling in Northrend. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.